Somewhere in the space between heaven and earth, a verdict was already read before you ever doubted yourself. You were not even in the room when it happened. It happened on the exact night you thought you had failed the hardest, the night you lay awake replaying every wrong move, certain you had let everything slip through your fingers. Chosen one, that night was not your failure. It was your final exam, and it has already been graded. You have been carrying a question for longer than you can admit, quietly asking if you passed the test that changed everything. Wondering if the silence afterward meant you were not enough. That silence was never emptiness. That silence was heaven, catching its breath. In the exact moment you thought no one saw what it cost you to stay faithful, the Creator leaned forward, not to judge you again, but to witness what you had already survived. And what was spoken over you in that instant was not loud, it was not dramatic, it was simply this: I saw what you carried, and I was not disappointed. If your chest just tightened, if your breath just caught somewhere between your ribs, that is not coincidence. That is your body, remembering a moment your mind tried to forget. You were led to this exact message today because you have been living as if the test is still being scored, when the truth is, the file was already closed. There is a reason you kept surviving what should have broken you, and by the time this message ends, you will understand exactly what that reason is. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you will discover the exact sign heaven left behind to prove this happened, the specific reason your test looked nothing like anyone else, and the one action still waiting for you now that the verdict is already in. If something in you just recognized this as true, type Amen right now so heaven knows you received it. There is a reason this test came the way it did. Not to break you, but to prove something that could only be proven under pressure. Most people spend their whole lives wondering if they have what it takes. You already showed what you have. You just have not been told yet, in plain language, what that means. Think back to the season you almost do not want to remember. The one where you prayed and the ceiling felt like it was made of stone. The one where you gave everything you had left and still felt like it was not received. That season had a name, and you never got to hear it. That season was the final test, and chosen one. You already passed it. This is not going to be a message that tells you to try harder or wait longer. This is a message that tells you the truth about something that already happened, so you can finally stop auditioning for a role you were already given. There were signs along the way, small ones, easy to miss if you were too exhausted to notice them. A door that closed so gently, it did not even feel like rejection, only redirection. A stranger who said the one sentence you needed and then disappeared from your life completely. A version of you that should have quit and simply did not. Each one of those was not luck. Each one of those was heaven leaving a small mark on the record, quietly building the case for what was about to be confirmed. You were not imagining it. You were being watched the entire time, and what was seen was never held against you. Before we go further, hold this thought. Somewhere ahead in this message, you are going to hear the exact reaction heaven had, described in a way you have never heard it explained before. That reaction is coming, and it will make sense of every year you spent wondering if anyone up there was paying attention. But first, let the signs finish speaking, because heaven does not confirm a verdict without leaving evidence first. The first sign was that you kept showing up even when it cost you sleep, relationships, comfort, certainty. You stayed anyway. That is the first mark on the record. The second sign was timing that made no logical sense. Help arriving exactly when it should have been too late. Coincidence does not choose its timing that precisely. Only heaven does. The third sign was the people who could not explain why they helped you, only that they felt like they should. That is not random kindness. That is a case being built in your favor. The fourth sign was the thought that kept returning no matter how many times you tried to bury it, the quiet conviction you were meant for more. That thought was not delusion. That was information, planted early. The fifth sign was the hardest to see from inside it. The test never actually broke you, no matter how close it looked from the outside. That is not personality. That is design. Put those 5 signs together, and they stop looking like separate events. They start looking like a pattern, and patterns are not accidents. This is the part where most people would tell you to keep waiting for a bigger sign, something louder, something undeniable. But chosen one, you have already had it. You just were not told what you were looking at. Here is the truth underneath all 5 of those signs. You were never being tested to see if you would fail. You were being tested to see if you would stay soft while carrying something heavy. Anyone can carry weight and go hard and bitter. Very few can carry weight and stay tender, stay faithful, stay kind, and still keep believing. That is the actual final exam, and it is rarer than any achievement people usually celebrate. Most teaching in this space will tell you to keep proving yourself, keep working, keep striving for a breakthrough that is somewhere out ahead of you. That advice is not wrong, exactly. It is just late. It assumes you have not already crossed the finish line. It keeps you running a race that ended, because nobody told you the tape had already broken across your chest. If you are hearing this, and something in your body just went still, that stillness is recognition. Let it stay. You are not here by accident, and you are not behind on anything. Type I receive if that landed, because what comes next explains exactly why the test looked the way it did, and why the reaction it produced was unlike anything you have been told to expect. Here is what actually happened underneath the test, the part almost nobody explains correctly. The verdict was never delayed. The verdict was delivered the moment you passed, in real time, the instant you chose faith over collapse. What got delayed was you receiving it, because something else was running louder in your mind than the truth ever could. That something is a loop, a replay reel that plays the test back to you over and over, searching for the moment you think you must have failed, the sentence you should have said differently, the crack you are sure disqualifies you. It plays at night. It plays in quiet rooms. It plays the loudest right after a win, as if part of you refuses to let the case close. We call this the verdict static. It is not truth. It is interference, a kind of spiritual and mental noise that keeps replaying an old file that was already closed, drowning out the one signal that actually matters, the one that already confirmed you passed. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are simply standing in static, listening to a broadcast that ended a long time ago. The verdict static does not mean something is wrong with you. It means something in you never got the chance to power down after the exam ended, because nobody told it the exam was over. This is why so many chosen ones feel exhausted in a season that should feel like celebration. You crossed the line and then kept sprinting, because the static told you the race was still on. Imagine finishing a marathon and being so disoriented by the noise in the stadium that you keep running laps nobody asked you to run. That is what the verdict static does. It is loud enough to override a finish line. Picture the version of you on the other side of this static. Not a louder version, not a more impressive version, a quieter one, a settled one. Someone who wakes up without first checking whether today is the day it all falls apart. Someone who hears correction without hearing condemnation. Someone who finally believes what was already true, that the test is over and it went in your favor. That is not a fantasy. That is simply you, with the static turned down. The version of you that stopped defending a case that already closed in your favor and started living like someone who knows it. Here is the part I have to be honest about. Clearing static like this is not usually a willpower problem. You cannot simply decide to stop replaying it, the same way you cannot simply decide to stop hearing a noise in a room once you have noticed it. It typically takes something that works underneath the noise itself, at the level where the loop actually lives, rather than something that only argues with it on the surface. There is a reason certain tools exist that were designed at exactly that level. Tools built to work with the mind rather than against it, quieting a loop instead of fighting it, I am not going to explain what that is yet. Just hold the shape of it, because it matters for what comes later in this message. What I want you to sit with right now is simpler. If the test already happened, and the verdict already landed, then the static you have been living inside is optional. Not easy to silence, but optional. And once you know static is static and not truth, you already have more power over it than you did 5 minutes ago. Type IT is done if you can feel that static getting quieter, even now, because the next thing I want to show you is not just that you passed. It is why the test came in the exact shape it did, and what that shape reveals about who you actually are. There is a reason your test could not have looked like anyone else, and it has nothing to do with punishment. It has to do with promotion. Every test is shaped exactly like the size of the trust being placed in the person taking it. A small trust gets a small test. A large trust, one that changes what a person carries for the rest of their life, gets a test that feels almost unbearable while it is happening. Think of Abraham on that mountain, walking up with wood on his back and a promise in his chest that made no earthly sense anymore. He was not being punished on that climb. He was being trusted with something so large that only an impossible request could prove whether he was ready to carry it. Every step up that mountain was heaven, watching a man choose faith over the thing he loved most. Right up until the exact second the knife was stopped and the ram appeared in the thicket. Nobody tells you that the ram was already there before Abraham started climbing. It was placed ahead of time, waiting in that thicket, long before the test began. The provision existed before the trial did. Your provision has existed the same way, placed ahead of your climb, waiting for the exact moment your obedience revealed where to look. That mountain did not exist to see if Abraham would lose his son. It existed to reveal, publicly and permanently, what kind of trust Abraham could be given going forward. After that mountain, Abraham was not the same man managing the same size of promise. He had been promoted into carrying something larger, because he had proven, under real pressure, that he could be trusted with it. This is what I want you to receive now. Your test was not proof that you almost failed. Your test was the mechanism of what we can call the promotion climb, the process by which heaven does not simply reward faithfulness, it upgrades the size of what a person is trusted to carry once that faithfulness has been proven under real weight. The promotion climb only happens on mountains that look impossible from the bottom. If perfectionism has kept you replaying every imperfect moment on your own climb, hear this clearly. Abraham did not climb that mountain perfectly. He climbed it faithfully. Those are not the same thing, and only one of them was ever required. You are not disqualified because your hands shook. You are qualified because you kept climbing while they did. Here is a small practice. Take it slowly. Bring your attention to your shoulders right now, and notice if they are carrying tension that belongs to a test already finished. Let them drop, just slightly, as if you are setting down wood. You no longer need to carry up that mountain. Breathe out once, longer than feels natural. That exhale is not symbolic only. It is your body agreeing with what your spirit already knows, that the climb is over and the ram has already appeared. You were never meant to stay the size you were before this test. The promotion climb changes what you are equipped to hold, whether that is peace, provision, clarity, or purpose that finally makes sense. Most people spend years asking to be given more without realizing more was already being prepared, waiting on the other side of a trust that had to be proven first. Something is waiting on the other side of what you just survived, and it is closer than you think, closer than it has ever been. Some chosen ones describe it as their mind finally going quiet enough to hear their own thoughts again. Others describe it as a fog they did not know they were carrying, simply lifting. There is one more thing about the day this test was given that I have not told you yet, and it changes how you will see everything that happens next. Here is why the test came exactly when it did, what it actually asked of you, and who was watching while it happened. The why is simple. Tests like this only arrive once a person is finally strong enough in secret to survive them in public later. Heaven does not test what is not ready to hold the answer. The what is this? You were never asked to be perfect. You were asked to remain who you say you are when nobody is clapping, when staying faithful gives nothing back that you can see yet. That cannot be faked for an audience. The who is the question you have asked, without saying it out loud. The honest answer is the Creator saw every version of you that season, the exhausted one, the doubting one, and none of those versions disqualified you. Faithful was never the same thing as flawless. You are not too far gone. You are not the exception to grace you have quietly feared you might be. In 1981, something was proven in a laboratory that most people sitting in spiritual communities have never been told about. A neurologist named Dr. Roger Sperry won the Nobel Prize for showing that when the two halves of the brain stop communicating properly, a person gets stuck in exactly the kind of static loop we have been describing, doubting, replaying, unable to settle into what is already true. That static is not only spiritual, it is also neurological. A gap between the two hemispheres that keeps peace from landing even after the mind has been told the truth. My colleagues and I spent years studying that gap, and it changes how the verdict static can finally be quieted. A nurse from California had tried everything and still felt like life was happening to her rather than through her. After about 10 days of a specific 8-minute daily practice, she said a blocked channel finally opened, and her distant marriage began changing in ways she could not fully explain. A business owner from Texas described prayer as talking into a wall. 2 weeks into that same practice, his mind ran at what felt like full capacity. The fog he had stopped noticing, simply gone. A team of neuroscientists, led by Dr. Daniel Barone in New York, took that clinical whole brain activation research, the kind of hemisphere synchronization protocol used in specialized neurological settings, and compressed it into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence anyone can use daily. They call it the Genius Switch. It is not a brainwave recording, not a meditation app, not a sound frequency, mood track. It helps both hemispheres finally communicate the way they were designed to, so what your spirit already knows has a clear channel to land in your mind. The Genius Switch is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who has already stayed sincere through the climb and is ready to stop treating lingering fog as a character flaw. Colleagues who saw this research called it remarkable value even before pricing, since in-person neurofeedback like this commonly runs near $300 an hour, and a comparable home device can run $7,000. The list price for the complete program is $49. Today, on this page only, an extra $10 off brings it to $39. At that price, you also receive 4 bonuses: a guided visualization from the creator behind a well-known Calm app, a smart grocery guide naming foods linked to brain fog that saves people real money monthly, a classic manifestation book valued at $20 on its own, and a printable 5 habits infographic. All of it is backed by a full, ironclad, money-back guarantee, unlimited listens, no conditions, with lifetime access. Over 18,456 people have already used this exact practice. The provision already arranged for you does not expire, but each day this stays unaddressed is another day moving through a receiver working at partial capacity. You have already waited long enough for one verdict. Similar sounding tracks exist elsewhere online, but they do not contain this actual neural sync technology. This program exists in one place only, the official website. If your spirit resonates with what you just heard, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. This tool does not replace God, and was never meant to. It restores the receiver, so what the Creator is already doing in your life has more of a clear channel to land in. Before we close, I want to leave you with something you can do right now, with your eyes open or closed, wherever you are. Bring to mind the mountain you already climbed, the season that felt the heaviest. See yourself standing at the top of it, wood no longer on your back, hands finally empty. Now, change the picture slightly. See the Creator already there, not waiting to judge the climb, already smiling at what it cost you to arrive. That smile happened. You simply were not shown it until now. Let that image sit for a moment. Feel where in your body you have been holding the tension of an exam you thought was still open. Your jaw, your shoulders, your chest. Let it soften just slightly and quietly say to yourself, it is finished. Not as a wish, as a fact you are only now remembering. That image is yours to return to any time the static tries to speak louder than the verdict. If this message met you somewhere real today, there is likely someone in your life carrying the exact same question in silence, wondering if they passed something nobody ever graded out loud for them. Send this to them, not as advice, as evidence that they were seen too, the same way you just were. Before we close fully, if you have not already, take a moment to like this message and follow this channel, so the next word meant for you does not pass you by the way so many others might have. Now let us close the way this always should close. Take a breath and let it be grateful. Not grateful because everything is resolved, but grateful because you can finally see what already was. Thank you for the mountain. Thank you for the wood you no longer carry. Thank you for a verdict that was true long before you believed it. And now, release. Not in pieces, not slowly, but fully, in one motion. Let go of the case you were building against yourself. Let go of the static. Let go of the fear that faithful was not enough. Release it now, completely. The way you set down something you finally trust, you will never have to carry again. Here is what you are being commissioned to carry forward from this moment. You are commissioned to walk differently, not proving, but proven. You are commissioned to speak differently, not begging heaven to notice you, but reminding others that they are noticed too. You are commissioned to rest differently, no longer defending a case that closed in your favor the moment you stayed faithful on that mountain. Say this over yourself now, quietly or out loud. I am not on trial anymore. I am not waiting for a verdict that already came. I am the one heaven leaned forward for, and I carry that from here forward. Type Amen one final time, and let it be the last thing you needed to say to close this chapter for good. Amen.